He was celebrated as the greatest boxer of all time, but the world turned on him when he made a choice that cost him everything: his title, his money, and his career. This is the story of how Muhammad Ali fought his biggest battles outside the ring. To discover the rest of this incredible journey and continue improving your English with powerful stories, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next chapter. The man we are going to talk about was not born rich. He was not born perfect. He was not born powerful. But he changed the world, with his fists, with his voice, with his heart, and with his truth. He fought many battles in the boxing ring, but he also fought many battles outside the ring for what he believed in. He lost everything, and still he stood tall. He was banned from his passion, he was criticized by his country, he was broken by illness, but he never, ever gave up. This is the story of a man who famously said, "I am the greatest even before I knew I was." This is the story of Muhammad Ali. And I promise you, you will feel inspired. You will feel strong. And yes, you will also improve your English with this powerful story. Every sentence, every word, and every emotion in this story is carefully chosen to help you learn English naturally by listening, feeling, and understanding a real human life. This is more than a story. It is a lesson for your own life. So please stay with me until the very end. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The boy named Cassius Muhammad Ali was not born with that famous name. His journey began as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He was born on January 17, 1942, in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, in the United States. His family was not wealthy. His father, Cassius Clay Sr., was a sign painter. He painted beautiful letters for businesses and signs on walls. His mother, Odessa Grady Clay, was a housemaid. She cleaned houses and took care of children for rich white families. They were a poor black family living in a time when America was deeply divided by racism. This was a time when the color of your skin decided where you could eat, which school you could go to, and if people treated you with respect. Black people were not treated as equals, and young Cassius grew up in a neighborhood where black kids were often ignored, insulted, or bullied. But even as a child, there was something special about Cassius Clay. He was not quiet. He was loud. He was confident. He was fast. And he was always dreaming big. His father once said with a smile, "My boy doesn't just walk, he bounces." He had an energy that seemed to light up the room. One day, something happened that would change his life forever. Cassius was just 12 years old, and he had a beautiful red bicycle. He loved that bike more than anything in the world. But one afternoon, it was stolen. He felt a hot anger rise inside him. He found a police officer nearby, and with tears in his eyes, he told the officer, "I'm going to find the person who did this, and I'm going to whoop him." The police officer. A kind man looked down at the passionate little boy and smiled. He said, "Well, if you're going to whoop somebody, you better learn how to fight first." That officer's name was Joe Martin, and he also happened to be a boxing coach. From that moment, from that stolen bike, young Cassius Clay entered the world of boxing. He trained every single day. He didn't care if it was raining or if he was tired after school. He ran with heavy weights tied to his shoes to make his legs stronger. He would punch trees to make his fists harder. He watched videos of the great boxers studying their every move, learning how they danced, how they defended, how they won. Even as a teenager, Cassius Clay was different. He was not like the other boxers who were often quiet and serious. He talked. He made poems. He told jokes. He would stand in front of reporters and say, "I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, and I'm going to be the champion of the world." He would joke, "I can talk faster than I can punch, and I punch lightning." He was funny. He was clever. and because of this, people started to listen. By the time he was 18 years old, his hard work was paying off. He had already won 6 Kentucky Golden Gloves titles and 2 national titles. Then, in 1960, at just 18, he traveled to Rome for the Olympics. There, he fought with incredible speed and grace, and he won the gold medal in boxing. He returned to America as a hero, but he was not a fully respected hero. Because in the America of that time, even if you were a black Olympic champion, you still couldn't eat in the same restaurant as white people. This was a painful truth that he felt deeply. After the Olympics, he turned professional. He fought match after match, winning most of them with his unique speed and style. Many people laughed at him. They said he was just a loudmouth, all talk and no action. But inside the ring, he moved like nobody else. He had a famous saying, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The hands can't hit what the eyes can't see." He was so fast, so fearless, and he made the brutal sport of boxing look beautiful like a dance. By 1964, he was ready to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. He was only 22 years old. But just before this big fight, something powerful happened in his life outside of boxing. Cassius Clay met a man named Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a powerful speaker and a leader in the Nation of Islam. He taught Cassius about black pride, about self-respect, and about the faith of Islam. Cassius listened, and what he heard changed his heart. He converted to Islam. Then, after he won the World Championship fight, he did something that shocked the entire world. He stood before the cameras and said, "Cassius Clay is my slave name. I am Muhammad Ali now. I am free." This announcement made headlines everywhere. People were angry, confused, and shocked. How could a world champion change his religion and his name right at the peak of his career? But Ali stood tall. He did not care what people thought. He said, "I know who I am, and I won't let the world tell me who to be." Ali kept fighting, and he kept winning. He became a global icon, a symbol of a new kind of athlete. But inside his heart, another bigger fight was coming. America was at war in a country called Vietnam. The government wanted Muhammad Ali to join the army, but Ali refused. He said his famous words, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. They never called me a nut." He refused to go to war because of his new faith and his moral principles. He could not fight for a country that did not treat his own people with equality. Because of this brave and dangerous decision, the United States government punished him severely. They took away his boxing license. They took away his championship title. They called him a traitor to his country and threatened him with 5 years in jail. He was banned from boxing for 3 years during the most important time of his career. But he stood strong. He said, "I will not betray my faith for money or fame. I would rather lose everything than lose myself." And that is exactly what happened. He lost everything. His career, his title, his money. He was one of the most famous men in the world, and suddenly he was an outcast. What would you do in that situation? When the whole world is against you, when you lose everything for what you believe in, how do you find the strength to keep going? It's something to think about, isn't it? We'll find out what Ali did right after this short pause. Chapter 2. The Man Who Refused to Stay Down. So Ali had lost everything. His boxing license was gone. His championship belt was taken from him. He had no income, no fights, and no career. All because he refused to fight in the Vietnam War. He stood up for his beliefs, his religion, and his truth. For 3 long years, the greatest boxer in the world was banned from boxing. He was 27 years old when the ban started the perfect age for a fighter, his prime years. He could have stayed silent. He could have said he was sorry. But Ali never apologized for doing what he believed was right. During these 3 difficult years, Ali did not hide. Instead of using his fists, he used his voice. He traveled all across the United States, giving speeches at universities, community centers, and churches. He spoke about the racism in America, the terrible cost of war, and the importance of faith freedom and justice. Students and people of all ages lined up to hear him speak. Some came just because they wanted to see the famous boxer, but they left with new ideas, a new fire in their hearts, and a new respect for the man. He became more than a boxer. He became a powerful voice for a generation that wanted change. Finally, in 1970, after 3 long years of silence, Ali's boxing ban was lifted. His first comeback fight was against a tough fighter named Jerry Quarry in Atlanta. Ali won. The crowd roared. The world watched. The king was back. But this was just the warm-up. In 1971, the fight of the century was announced. It was Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. 2 undefeated champions, 1 ring. The fight happened on March 8, 1971, at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The whole world stopped to watch. Celebrities filled the seats. Reporters came from every country. Round after round, punch after punch, it was a brutal war. Ali danced, and Frazier came forward like a powerful machine. Frazier's famous left hook was heavy and dangerous. Ali's speed was still there, but the years out of the ring had made him just a little bit slower. In the 15th and final round, Frazier landed a crushing blow. Ali fell to the canvas. Incredibly, he got back up, but it was too late. The judges gave the fight to Joe Frazier. Ali had lost, but in a way, he did not lose. The world didn't stop loving him because he showed that even in defeat, he would never give up. Ali didn't stop. He went back to the gym. He kept training, fighting, and pushing himself. He fought another great fighter, Ken Norton, who actually broke his jaw during the fight. Ali fought through the incredible pain, but lost that fight too. People again said he was finished. But then he fought Norton again in a rematch and won. He fought Frazier again and won. He was getting stronger, smarter, and wiser. He was not just a young, fast fighter anymore. He was a warrior with experience. In 1974, Ali was given one more chance to fight for the world heavyweight title. But this time, it was against a new kind of monster, George Foreman. Foreman was younger, stronger, and undefeated. He was a truly scary fighter who had knocked out almost all his opponents easily. The fight was set to happen in Zaire, Africa, and it became known all over the world as the Rumble in the Jungle. Almost no one believed Ali could win. Foreman was the heavy favorite. Even Ali's own fans feared for his safety. But Ali, the master thinker, had a secret plan. He called it the rope-a-dope strategy. For round after round, Ali let Foreman punch him. Yes, you heard that right. He leaned back on the ropes of the boxing ring, protected his face with his arms, and let the powerful Foreman hit him again and again, making him tired. As Foreman threw his heavy punches, Ali would whisper in his ear, "Is that all you got, George?" By the 8th round, Foreman was completely exhausted. His arms felt like lead. Suddenly, Ali exploded off the ropes. He threw a lightning-fast combination of punches, and the giant, unbeatable George Foreman was knocked out cold. Ali stood over him, his arm raised. The stadium shook. At 32 years old, after being banned and counted out, Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion of the world again. He had achieved the impossible. But his story was far from over. The greatest challenges of his life, both inside and outside the ring, were still waiting for him. If you want to follow the rest of this incredible journey and not miss the powerful lessons he taught the world, now is the perfect time to subscribe to our channel. We share stories like this every week to help you learn and grow. After the rumble in the jungle, Lee became more than a boxer. He was now a symbol of hope all around the world. He was a true global icon. He visited Africa, where people welcomed him like a king. He went to the Middle East, where Muslims embraced him as a brother and a hero. He traveled to Asia, where even small children knew his name. He was perhaps the most famous man in the world, and he knew it. In 1975, Ali fought Joe Frazier one final time. This was their third match, and it was the most brutal of them all. It happened in Manila in the Philippines, and it became known as the Thrilla in Manila. The heat in the arena was unbearable over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Both men fought with a courage that was almost inhuman. Ali later said, "It was the closest thing to dying that I've ever felt." After 14 punishing rounds, Frazier's trainer stopped the fight because Joe could no longer see. Ali had won, but he was so exhausted that he collapsed in his corner, not in celebration, but in pure survival. It was a victory, but it was a war that left both men changed forever. In the late 1970s, Ali was getting older. He was slower, but he was still fighting. He lost his championship belt to a young fighter named Leon Spinks, but then he won it back just a few months later. This made him a 3-time world champion, the first in history. But the thousands of punches and the years of brutal fighting had taken a toll on his body. In the early 1980s, people started to notice small changes. He began to show signs of slurred speech. His words not as clear as before. His hands started to shake sometimes. His movements became slower. Doctors told him that he had Parkinson's disease, a condition of the brain that was likely caused by the many years of punches to his head. Ali had fought against men, against the media, against racism, and against his own government. Now he was fighting a battle inside his own body. His quick feet didn't move like they used to. He started speaking more and more slowly. During interviews, his hands would sometimes shake. At first, people thought he was just tired, but the truth was much darker. In 1980, Muhammad Ali came back for one more fight this time, against a new champion named Larry Holmes. Holmes had once been Ali's sparring partner, someone who trained with him. But now Holmes was younger, faster, and stronger. Ali believed in his heart he could still win, but the fight was painful to watch. Round after round, Holmes hit him, and Ali could not fight back like the champion he once was. He looked slow, weak, and old. In the 10th round, Ali's own trainer stepped in and stopped the fight. He could not watch his hero and friend get hurt anymore. Ali didn't win, but he still didn't complain. He said, "I had to find out if I still had it. I didn't, but now I know." In 1981, Ali fought one last time against Trevor Berbick in the Bahamas. He lost again. And with that, he retired from boxing forever. Not long after he retired, doctors officially confirmed what everyone feared. Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's disease, a disorder of the brain that causes shaking stiffness and slow movement. The man who was famous for his lightning speed and his powerful voice now struggled to walk and speak. His face, once so full of expression, no longer moved as much. His famous smile began to fade. For a man known for his energy and his voice, this was a cruel, unfair twist of fate. But Ali did not cry. He did not complain. Instead, he said, "God gave me Parkinson's to show me that even the greatest can be tested." Even though he couldn't fight in the ring anymore, Ali began a new mission. He decided to fight for peace, for helping children, and for charity. He traveled the world meeting with world leaders and speaking about Islam and understanding. He traveled to countries like Iraq to help negotiate the release of American hostages. He went to Afghanistan, Morocco, Cuba, and South Africa, always spreading a message of peace. He went to India, where thousands of children lined up on the streets just to see him. He helped raise millions and millions of dollars for research and education. Even when he couldn't speak clearly, his quiet presence spoke loudly. In the year 1996, the Olympic Games were held in Atlanta, Georgia. Billions of people were watching on television around the world. And then a surprise guest appeared. It was Muhammad Ali standing silently holding the Olympic torch. His hands were shaking from his illness. His body moved slowly, but he stood tall. He walked to the cauldron and lit the Olympic flame, the symbol of strength, spirit, and courage. For a moment, the entire stadium went silent. Then it exploded with applause. People cried. People stood up. Even those who didn't know much about boxing knew they were watching a moment of true courage. Muhammad Ali was not just a champion, he was also a father. He had 9 children. His most famous child was his daughter, Laila Ali, who followed in his footsteps and also became an undefeated boxing champion. He supported all his kids, even when he was very sick. He attended their graduations, their weddings, and their special events. And his wife Lonnie stayed by his side for more than 30 years, taking care of him every single day. She helped him walk, speak, eat, and pray. He was no longer the loud, fast-talking fighter. He had become a quiet warrior filled with an inner peace. From the year 2000 to 2016, Ali's health continued to decline. He moved more slowly, spoke less, and needed help to walk, but he still made public appearances when he could. At awards ceremonies, schools, hospitals, mosques, and churches. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor for a civilian in America. He was named the BBC Sports Personality of the Century. He was a United Nations Messenger of Peace. Streets, schools, and stadiums were named after him. Everywhere he went, people stood up in respect because even in his silence, he was still the greatest. On June 3, 2016, the world received the sad news. Muhammad Ali had died at the age of 74. The news spread instantly across the globe. The world didn't just lose a boxer, it lost a voice for justice, a fighter for peace, a man of incredible faith, courage, and love. Ali's funeral was held on June 10, 2016, in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. It was not a sad event. It was a celebration of his incredible life. Over 100,000 people came to pay their respects. Millions more watched online and on TV. World leaders, celebrities, and sports legends all came to say goodbye. The coffin was carried through the streets of Louisville, and people lined every street. Children shouted, "We love you, Ali." Old men cried. Women waved flowers. Muslims, Christians, Jews, and atheists all stood together to honor him. He was buried at Cave Hill Cemetery in a simple grave. His tombstone has a simple, powerful message: service to others is the rent you pay for your room in heaven. Even in his death, Muhammad Ali was teaching the world one last lesson. Chapter 3. The Lessons He Left Behind. Muhammad Ali was gone, but something strange happened after his death. The world started talking about him even more. People from every part of the planet shared their memories, their stories, and the lessons they learned from Ali's life. Some of these people had met him in person. Some had only watched him on television. But all of them said the same thing. Ali didn't just fight in the ring, he fought for something much bigger. This part of our story is about everything the world learned from him, not just about boxing, but about life, faith, courage, and what it truly means to be great. In his later years, when Ali could barely speak, he still traveled. But he didn't travel for fame. He went to orphanages, to children's hospitals, to areas hit by disasters, and to poor neighborhoods. And he often went without cameras. He didn't want attention. He would just sit with sick people, pray with families, and smile at children. Even though his hands were shaking and his voice was a whisper, he had a power. One nurse in a hospital said, "He could barely speak, but when he smiled, the whole room felt healed." This was the side of Muhammad Ali. The world didn't always see the gentle, quiet, humble man who gave his time to strangers. Here are just a few of the real stories that people shared after Ali's death. In 1983, a young man was standing on the ledge of a tall building in Los Angeles, threatening to jump. The police tried to talk to him, but they couldn't stop him. Ali, who was nearby, saw the news on TV and said, "Let me try to talk to him." He went to the building, climbed up to where the man was sat next to him on the ledge, and just spoke to him softly. After 30 minutes, the man came down safely. Ali had saved his life. This story shows the real heart of a person, doesn't it? It is a story about deep kindness. If you feel that this message of kindness is important, maybe you can share this story with someone you know who might need to hear it. Another time in 1990, the leader of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, had taken 15 American citizens as hostages. Ali, even though he was already very sick with Parkinson's, flew to Iraq by himself. He met with Saddam Hussein in person. Ali didn't shout or make threats. He simply asked for peace man to man, and he was able to bring all 15 hostages back home to their families. He would also often visit homeless shelters without telling anyone. He would bring food, sit with the people there, talk with them, and laugh with them. One man who lived in a shelter later said, "He made me feel like I was the world champion." He didn't do these things for newspapers or for praise. He did them because real kindness doesn't need an audience. Ali was not just a fighter. He was also a philosopher, a poet, and a speaker of truth. Some of his most powerful quotes are still used today in school speeches and books. Here are a few with their deep meaning. He said, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." Ali taught us that without taking risks, there is no reward. You have to be brave enough to try. He also said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room in heaven." He truly believed that the main reason we are here on earth is to help other people. Another wise quote is, "It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoe." He meant that sometimes it's the small problems inside of us, our fear, our doubt, our ego, that can destroy us more than the big challenges we face on the outside. And finally, about his training, he said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." This is what made him different. He pushed through the pain because he believed in the final result. Ali was very proud to be a Muslim, but he never forced his religion on anyone. He didn't shout about his faith. He lived it quietly, deeply, and respectfully. He prayed 5 times a day, he read the Quran often, and he gave millions of dollars to Muslim charities around the world, especially to help orphans and victims of disasters. He once said, "I am an American. I am a Muslim, and I'm proud of both." Even when people criticized him for his religion, he didn't fight back with hate. He simply showed through his kind and calm character what Islam truly meant to him. Ali also believed that young people had the power to change the world, but only if they knew who they were. He would tell students, "Don't copy the crowd. Don't let the television tell you who you are. Don't be scared to speak your truth." He asked young people to be proud of their race, to be proud of their faith, to help the poor, to stay strong when people laugh at them, to be brave without being loud, and to always, always believe in their own worth. He told one school, Champions are not made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a dream, a desire, a vision. After his death, the world didn't just say goodbye. It celebrated him. In England, children painted murals of Ali on school walls. In South Africa, people remembered how he had supported Nelson Mandela in the fight against apartheid. In Indonesia, thousands of people gathered in mosques to pray for him. In the United States, both Muslims and Christians joined together to honor his memory. His name became more than just a person. The name Ali became a symbol for courage, dignity, kindness, strength, and truth. In the ring, Ali won 56 fights. He knocked out 37 opponents. He won an Olympic gold medal and 3 heavyweight titles. But his greatest victory was not with his fists. It was with his belief when no one else stood with him. It was his silence when his voice was stolen. It was his smile when pain filled his body. And it was his peace when hate tried to touch him. He proved that you don't need to be loud to be strong, and you don't need to win every round to become a true champion. So let's talk about the life lessons we can take from Muhammad Ali. The first and maybe the most important lesson is to believe in yourself before anyone else does. When Muhammad Ali was young, people laughed at him. They said he was too skinny, too loud, too cocky. But he didn't care. He said, "I am the greatest," even before he was. That is true confidence. So the lesson is this: don't wait for the world to believe in you. You believe in yourself first. Say it, train for it, live it, and then you will become it. The second lesson: stand for what's right, even if it costs you everything. In 1967, Ali refused to fight in a war he didn't believe in. As a result, he lost his title, his career, and his money. He faced jail time. The media called him a traitor. But Ali said he would rather lose everything than go against his faith. The lesson is powerful if you truly believe something is wrong. Don't do it. Even if it hurts you. Even if the world turns against you. Your values are more important than your success. Third, train hard even when you hate it. Ali famously said he hated every minute of training. But while others were sleeping, he was running. While others were resting, he was punching. He saw his goal so clearly. The lesson for us is that success doesn't come just from talent. It comes from doing the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. Suffer a little now, and your future can be great. Fourth, be bigger than your job. Muhammad Ali was not just a boxer. He became a global speaker, a political voice, a symbol of faith, a peace ambassador. He did not limit himself. The lesson is this: don't let your job title define your whole life. Use your platform, no matter how small, to stand for something bigger. Fifth, even if you fall, get back up stronger. Ali lost big fights. He was knocked down. He was beaten and injured. But every single time, he got back up. After he lost to Joe Frazier, people said he was finished. But he came back and eventually beat him. The lesson is simple, but so important: falling down is not failure. Staying down is. Your real power is in how many times you can rise. Sixth, speak with confidence, but live with humility. Ali was famous for his bold words: "I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty." But in his personal life, he was known for being kind, gentle, and helpful. The lesson is that it's okay to have a fire in your words, but make sure your actions are full of grace and kindness. Seventh, use your voice for those who have no voice. Ali was never quiet about racism or injustice. He said things that other people were afraid to say. He risked his popularity to speak the truth for people who were not being treated fairly. The lesson is, if you have a voice, use it to stand up for someone who cannot speak for themselves. That is how you make real change. Eighth true power comes from having a purpose. Ali didn't just fight for money or belts. He fought to prove that black people could rise. He fought to show the world that Muslims could be peaceful and proud. He fought to inspire the poor and the broken. His fights had a deep purpose. The lesson: find your why. Why do you wake up in the morning? If your purpose is strong, your power will last forever. Ninth, greatness is created, not inherited. Ali wasn't born rich or powerful. He didn't have special connections. He built himself with pain, sweat, tears, and belief. The lesson is that you don't need to be born into success. You just need a strong mind, a clear goal, and a heart that refuses to stop. Greatness is for the relentless. And the 10th lesson: even in silence, you can inspire millions. After Parkinson's disease took his voice and his movement, the world loved him more than ever. When he lit the Olympic torch with his shaking hands, the entire planet felt his strength. The lesson is that you don't need to be perfect to make an impact. If you live with love, truth, and courage, your life will shine. The final lesson is perhaps the most personal one. Muhammad Ali was called the greatest, but he didn't want you to be him. He wanted you to be your own greatest. Be the greatest mother, the greatest student, the greatest friend, the greatest version of yourself. You don't need a championship belt to be a champion in your own life. You just need a reason, a routine, a heart, and a dream. So now our story is over, but his message is not. Muhammad Ali showed us something that we all sometimes forget. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to be rich to be respected. And you don't need to be physically strong to stand tall. Ali was mocked, banned, beaten, and broken, but he never gave up. If you are listening to this, maybe you are fighting your own battle. Maybe people laugh at your dream. Maybe your body is tired, or your heart feels heavy. Maybe the world has told you that you will never make it. Remember this: the world told Muhammad Ali the same thing, and he became the greatest of all time. He lost fights, he lost his voice, he lost his health, but he never lost his faith. He never lost his courage, and he never lost his purpose. So whatever you are going through, please don't stop. Don't break. Don't bow your head. Your story is not over yet. Like Ali once said, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are just getting ready for the fight of your life. So stand up, be brave, and be your own version of greatness. Because if Muhammad Ali could do it, so can you. And that's where our story concludes. This one was a real journey, wasn't it? I am so curious to hear your take on it all. What were your final thoughts? Do you have any lingering questions about why a character did what they did, or what a certain moment meant? Please leave all your opinions, your theories, and your questions below. I truly love reading them and building this conversation with all of you. Thank you for sharing this time with me.